Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday. We are looking at a review for today. So October 19th, the Activity 9 practice. Remember, you can pause it anytime, your own time to complete something. So I will go through these 4 pages. Again, feel free to pause anytime you want to try a problem on your own. Number 1, we're finding the slope of the line that passes through the 2 given points. So this is when we can label our x1, y1 and x2, y2. Our slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Our y2 is -8. Then we have a minus sign in the formula. Our y1 is 6. Our x2 is -6. We have a minus sign in the formula. X1 is 2. Using the fraction key, we can type this in. -8 minus 6 and -6 minus 2. And we get our final answer of a slope of 7/4. Table. So we can use change in y over change in x and just look at, maybe I'll use these points because they're positive, might be a little bit easier to see. 2 going up to 5 is a change of 3. 0 going up to 5 is a change of 5. So the y's changed by 3, the x's changed by 5. So our slope is 3/5. And the last table here, if you'd like to pause and try that one on your own, I'll do change in y over change in x again. Let's see, from 20 to 14, that's a drop of 6. From -4 to -3, that's an increase of 1. And so our change in y is -6. Our change in x is 1. -6/1 is the same as -6. Four and 5 will be just like number 1, where we're using the formula. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2, and our formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is -5, minus sign, y1 is 1, x2 is 5, minus x1, which is -10. With our fraction key, -5 minus 1 and 5 minus -10, we get a slope of -2/5. Number 5 would be a good one to try on your own by pausing. x1, y1, x2, y2, our formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is -9, minus y1 is 11. x2 is 1, minus x1 is -4. -9 minus 11 on the top and 1 minus -4 on the bottom, we get a slope of -4. Number 8 says, are the 3 points on the same line and to explain. So we can do x1, y1, x2, y2, and find that slope. y2 is 6, minus y1 is 3, x2 is 5, minus x1 is 2. 6 minus 3 is 3, 5 minus 2 is 3, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. And then what we can do is erase our labels and start over with the next 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2, and find that slope. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is negative 2 minus y1 is 6. x2 is 0 minus x1 is 5. Negative 2 minus 6 on the top and 0 minus 5 on the bottom. We have 8 over 5. If we're looking at a slope of 1, we have a slope of 8 over 5. The points are not on the same line because the slopes are not equal. Remember, if they were all from the same line, then the slopes would be the same. And the last question on this page, number 9, which of the following pairs of points lies on a line with a slope of negative 3 over 5? So I think I'll do change in y over change in x here. The y's are going from 0 to 10, so that's a change of 10. The x's are going from 4 to negative 2, and that is a drop of 6. 10 over negative 6 simplifies to negative 5 over 3. And we're looking for a slope of negative 3 over 5. Let's go to letter B, change in y over change in x. So the y's are going from 2 to 4. That's going up by 2. The x's are going from 4 to 10. That's going up by 6. So I'm going to stop there because I know my slope is supposed to be negative, and that is not negative. Letter C, change in y over change in x. The y's are going negative 10 to negative 2, so that's going up 8. The x's are going from negative 4 to 0, and that's going up 4. And again, I'm going to stop there because my slope is supposed to be negative, and this is not negative. So hopefully it's going to be our last one. Change in y over change in x. The y's are going from negative 2 to 4, so that's up 6. And the x's are going from 10 to 0, so that's down 10. And 6 over negative 10 simplifies to negative 3 over 5. So that is answer choice D. Those are the points that have of negative for 5. Okay, this page will be faster. For item 10, determine the slope of the line that is graphed. So let's do a rise over run. And then I think I'll pick maybe this point and this point. Okay, so starting here, I have to rise 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be negative 4 because it's dropping 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm rising negative 4 because I'm going down 4, and then I'm running 8. Negative 4 over 8 is the same as negative 1/2. Says $1 per hour plus $20 per week making picture frames. Write a function g of x for his total earnings if he works x hours in 1 week. So g of x, he's getting $20 a week no matter what. He's also getting $7 per hour and he's working x hours. So that would be 7x. 1 hour is 7 times 1, 2 hours, 7 times 2, and so on. Letter B, without graphing, determine the slope. The slope is always going to be the coefficient of the x. And we saw that in our rate of change lesson, that the slope, what we get for the slope is going to be the coefficient of the x, which is right next to the x. So that slope is going to be 7. What does the slope mean in the context of his job? The 7 is how much he makes per hour. 7 is how much one makes each hour. Okay, pause as you need to, if you need more time to write. Number 12, the graph shows the height of an airplane as it descends to land. Does the function have a constant rate of change? Okay, so we can see because it's a line, it is going to have a constant rate of change. A line has just one slope. And then if so, what is it? So let's go, I'm gonna go from this point to this point. So my rise over run, I'm finding my rate of change, which is the same as the slope, rise over run. I'm dropping down 1, 2, 3, but the scale is 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. So from 10,000 to 7,000, I'm dropping down 3,000. And I'm running, that kind of looks like 1, 2, but when you look at the scale down here, this is 0 minutes over to 1 minute. So I actually only ran over 1 minute. I dropped 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and then I'm running over from 0 to 1 minute, which is 1 minute. So my rate of change is negative 3,000. What is the slope of the line? It's going to be the same thing, negative 3,000. Okay, so rate of change is that it's dropping 3,000 every minute. And that's the same thing as the slope. How are the rate and the slope, how are the rate of change and the slope of the line related? They are the same. And describe the meaning of the slope within the context of the situation. So this is showing us that every minute the airplane is dropping 3,000 feet or lowering 3,000 feet. So we go down 3,000 over the course of that minute. And then again, we go down 1, 2, 3,000 over the course of that minute as well. So every minute, the plane drops 3,000 feet. Okay, number 13, tell whether the function is linear and justify your response. So we'll look at our change in y over change in x. So first we see 44 to 40, we're dropping 40. Negative 3 to negative 1 is going up 2. So change in y is negative 40, change in x is 2. Negative 40 divided by 2 is negative 20. The next change in y over change in x, 4 to negative 1 is a drop of 5. Negative 1 to 0 is an increase of 1. The change in y is negative 5. The change in x is 1. Negative 5 divided by 1 is negative 5. So we can actually stop there. This function would not be linear because we have a slope of negative 20 and a slope of negative 5. And if it was linear, then it should be the same slope. So we would say no, because the slopes are equal. Okay, number 16, 1 point on the line described by y equals negative 2x plus 3 is shown below. Use your knowledge of slope to give the coordinates of 3 more points on the list, but I'm going to use, we know that our slope is with the x, the coefficient of the x. So our rise over run is negative 2. Furthermore, if we don't have a denominator, you can put a denominator of 1. So we're rising negative 2 and we're running 1 each time. So rise negative 2 and run 1. Here's your next point. Rise negative 2 and would be your next point. Rise negative 2 and run 1 would be another point. Rise negative 2 and run 1, and there's another point that's already there. So 3 more points on the line. We have this one, which is 2, -1. This one, which is 3, -3. And this one is 4, -5. Okay, and then our last page, we just have 3 questions here. Identify if the slope of the line is positive, negative, 0, or undefined. So you might remember that this is, if you don't, you can look at your rise over run, and let's pick those 2 points. We have a rise of 1, 2, 3. So let's say -3. I'm going to start at this point on the top. So to get to the other point, I have to rise 1, 2, 3, -3. I don't run at all because I'm not going left or right. So I'm only dropping down and I don't have any run. When you have a 0 in the denominator, that's going to be an undefined slope. And if you even tried to tell you that there's an error because you can't divide by 0. So it tells you there is an error, and then that would lead you to write undefined. Number 9, from left to right, the line is dropping, so that would be a negative slope. And you could even, pick some points if you wanted to, rise over run. So I'm dropping 2 and I'm running 1. But this question, you just had to say if it was positive, negative, 0, or an undefined slope. So since the line's going down, it's a negative slope, or you can actually find it. -2 over 1 is -2. That's a negative slope. Okay, and our very last question, number 20, it says the slope of a line is 0. It passes through the point -3, 4. Identify 2 other points on the line and justify your answers. Okay, so it passes through the point -3, 4. And maybe you remember what this line looks like from yesterday. If the rise over run is 0, remember you can put an invisible 1 in the bottom. So it's like you're not rising at all, but you are running 1. Again, you're not rising, but you're running 1. You're not rising, but you're running. Not rising, but running 1, and so on. So this line would be horizontal. A slope of 0 is going to be a horizontal line, but again, you could look at it as 0 over 1, no rise, but you do have run. So some other points on this line, -2, what is this, 4? So -2, 4, -1, 1, 2, 3, 4. This point is 0, 4. So those would be some other points on the line. All right, so when you are finished, you can turn this into Canvas. Feel free to go back and rewatch anything that you need, and then I will on Thursday.